And Arif is known to you as Vice President of the Bangladesh Bioethics Society and the Vice President for South Asia of the Asian Bioethics Association. And he's going to go through some parts of his thesis proposal, which I think is a very interesting and unique topic in bioethics. So thank you very much, Arif.
Okay, thank you, Darrell, and thanks to everyone here. I will present my thesis defense proposal for my PhD at AUSN. And this proposal is about 26 pages, but for time constraint, I cannot read all 26 pages. I will make it up to about 8 or 9 pages of reading. The title of my paper, my thesis, is Soul, Death, Barzach, and the Hereafter. So I will go straight to the keywords. Okay, the keywords: God, soul, death, hereafter, the unseen, resurrection, the grave, atheism, bioethics, eternal life. I will start with the introduction, section 1.1, life and death. The reality is that soul, death, Barzach, and the hereafter are the integral part of human life. The soul is the essence of life, as fuel is the energy that runs the automobile or the light that makes the eyes see. We all see the human body when the soul leaves, and the human body is left senseless and ultimately dissolves into the world. Death is the passageway into the next world. We don't have a spaceship to travel to the unseen world. The means of transportation to the unseen world is death. If life is true, then death is true. Death is one of the very important aspects of life, yet each one of us really don't know the dates of our deaths. From Islamic information, we know Barzach is an intermediary world where all souls are taken after death and kept there until the day of resurrection. We all know the eternal life awaits us in the life hereafter in a state of comfort and happiness or pain and distress. These issues of soul, death, Barzach, and the hereafter are of vital significance to all human lives. Section 1.2, Western secular bioethics. Yet there are approaches of ignorance to these issues of soul, death, Barzach, and the hereafter, which are of vital importance from Western bioethics. If this is true from the point of view of bioethics, that bioethics is the love of life, then in secular Western bioethics, the statement should be, bioethics is love of part of life. As some Western bioethics totally omits discussion on the soul after the issues Barzach and the life hereafter. The tragedy is that much of Western bioethics tries to find everything from an atheistic point of view, and that puts a limit to the entire discipline of Western bioethics. It's like imagining day without night and night without the day. As a matter of fact, I find that atheistic Western bioethics comes from a prejudicial view of what comes from religion, and particularly from Islamic sources, or important information we gather from God's revelation to His messengers. This is the nature of atheism, which is dominant in many schools of Western education. Some societies are taking remedies to atheistic Western education. Recently, Turkey has taken a decision to remove Darwin's baseless and redundant theory of evolution from its high school textbooks. Let's just admit that atheistic Western education is a major source of corruption and disturbance in all societies. Section 1.3. What is good death? My intention in this thesis is not to criminalize Western education, but I just want to say that without admitting to the education and information we receive from God's revelation to His messengers, the education is incomplete and the result can turn into chaos that we see all around the world. For example, I have reviewed a number of Western bioethics papers on good death or good death and bad death. In all those papers, the authors discusses social and cultural issues related to the dying person's pains and sufferings, and medical cares for the dying person, and this is the limit. Few papers offer information on the dying person when the person is dying or after the person dies. If the person is dying after proper medical care and in the presence of his loved ones, then does that dying person have a good death, or when death really comes, it becomes unending pain and a bad death. A number of good death and bad death papers show no understanding on these matters. What happens to the martyr who gets a violent death? Does he have a good death or a bad death? God has guaranteed paradise to the martyr. Western bioethics papers do not show any understanding on these matters. Section 1.4. Research objective. Death is not the end of life. There are more in death and after death. These gaps in Western bioethics prompted me to develop the idea to write my PhD thesis on the issues of the soul, death, Barzach, and the hereafter. In the darkness of each night, we encounter the dark matters of ourselves in our souls. It argues with the righteous self of our souls, and whoever wins the dark matters of our souls or the righteousness of our souls, one of it takes over. The conflict of interest goes on all throughout our lives until we meet death. The souls that become slaves of God becomes free, and God is in no need of slaves. God is needless. Those free souls given to God does not give allegiance to any tyrannical powers of the world. The free souls understands the mischiefs of the dark souls. These views gives us a deeper understanding about human affairs and societies. These areas of human science often ignored by Western bioethics. Atheistic Western bioethics discusses biobricks and gene therapy, but cannot say anything about the soul as the main factor or force of life. The papers on Western bioethics is like an incomplete report. These are the reasons that inspired me to write about soul, death, Barzach, and the hereafter. If all the philosophers of the world gathered together, they would fail to reveal any correct information about soul, death, Barzach, and the hereafter. This information comes from God through His revelation to His messengers. Time duration, section 1.5. I have allocated a year of work from this date to complete my PhD thesis. I have already sketched out much of the material I will write for the thesis. So I think I can complete the thesis on time. Maybe that could be 2 months plus or minus. Methodology, section 1.6. My thesis is not be theoretical. If I interviewed a few persons about soul, what can they really say? Unless they have authentic theological knowledge, no person can say very much about the soul. I think many people do not think of it over because of the bad education we receive. Still, a simple questionnaire is used to gather some information from several groups. I thought of interviewing a few dying persons to know about death, but the dying persons cannot say what they see at the time of their death and after death. The terminally ill patient is preoccupied about thoughts of the life he has passed and with the thoughts of his loved ones and about his medical cares. The dying person does not know what he is going to go through at the time of death and after death. And about the hereafter, most people believe in either eternal life and know that there is a heaven and a hell, or in reincarnation, depending on their religion. Beyond these matters, people cannot say very much. However, in addition to literature survey, as the research methodology of my thesis, I will collect information from a number of people about their opinion on the soul, death, Barzach, and the hereafter. It would be good to know what people think about these important issues of their lives. we don't yet have a situation where a person who is really dead comes back to life after some years and tells us everything. As for Islamic beliefs, we will see a minor resurrection of some people who has died long ago will be resurrected back to life and tells us everything they have seen in the hereafter. This minor resurrection will occur at the time of the promised Islamic Messiah Mahdi alayhi salam. The last descendant of the Prophet will rise and appear in the world. My thesis does not promote atheism and has been written from a believer's point of view. When papers are written in Western bioethics or other disciplines from an atheistic point of view, they don't admit that the paper has been written based on atheism. Those who believe in God, God's angels, God's revelation to His messengers, Judgment Day, the hereafter, and heaven and hell are believers. I collected information about soul, death, Barzach, and the hereafter from God's revelation to His messenger, brought to God's messenger by Archangel Gabriel. The information came from the narrations of the Prophet of Islam that has been compiled in books by the holy descendants of the Prophet during the time of the Prophet, after his demise, and in the early centuries of the rise of Islam. Hundreds of books about narrations of the Holy Prophet have been compiled by the holy descendants of the Prophet and has been handed down from generation to generation to reach our times. I have delved into some of those ancient scripts to find my information about soul, death, Barzach, and the hereafter that are held as both authentic and reliable by Islamic scholars and followers. I do not generally refer to the information about soul, death, Barzach, and the hereafter from Christian, Jewish, and Hindu sources, as I don't think this information from those sources is reliable anymore in the present day and age. Okay, I go to chapter 2, which is the soul. I will skip a paragraph and then I will start with self. What is self? Nafs in Arabic. Our identity, ego, personality, ever-changing different levels of consciousness. The self develops along different stages. The further away from the soul, the one source, the baser the self is. And conversely, the nearer to reflecting its pure origin in the one source, the higher it is. It is the self that has the potential to transform itself by reflecting attributes of the soul. Soul, in Arabic root, means wind, our true identity, beingness, the divine breath within us, which bears the imprint of pre-creation and all divine attributes. It is boundless and cannot be self-seen or defined. Only aspects of its qualities may come through the self. Nevertheless, without any semblance of doubt, a living man has a definite distinction over non-living entities. In the meaning of that, a living man possesses some particularities which do not exist in non-living entities and man himself. When he departs from this world, tends to lose them. That thing within man, which is the reason for his life, is called soul. Scholars and religious philosophers claim that No. Okay. Scholars and religious philosophers claim that within man is concealed a reality and an essence with the non-matter, in the meaning of that, in addition to the materials which form the human body, there exists the reality which places the body of man directly under its influence. Hence, the soul is a metaphysical reality, but at the same time, it has a direct communication with matter and the body of man and administers it. We have come in this world from the body of our mother as a newborn baby. But our appearance in this world as a new living species is not the first stage of our existence. We were created by God much before our birth. Before our birth, we all were living somewhere in the universe as individual souls. This is what Quran and Hadith tells us about the origin of our existence. The Holy Quran says, when your Lord brought forth descendants from the lines of Adam's children and made them testify concerning themselves, saying, am I not your Lord? They replied, we bear witness that you are. This he did so that you should not say on the day of judgment that we had no knowledge of this. This verse of the Holy Quran reminds us about a pact that was made between us and our Lord before our birth, that none of them again is our Lord. This is why we remember God in this world. This confirms that we had an existence and conscious life before our death. It is our belief that nafs, soul, and it is the root, spirit, which is the cause of life. That the spirit or soul are the first creation. As the Holy Prophet has said, the first thing which Allah created out of nothing were the blessed and pure souls. Then Allah made them declare His oneness, and after that He brought into being other creatures. This is in conformity with our belief that the light of Muhammad and the descendants of the Muhammad were first creation. The other souls were also created long before the creation of Adam. And the Prophet has said, souls are like a collection of armed forces. Whichever soul knew each other in that world are attracted towards each other in this world, and whichever remains apart and aloof there are repulsed from each other in this life. And the sixth descendant of the Prophet, Imam Jafar Sadiq, has said, verily Allah established brotherhood between the souls in the world of shadows, 2,000 years before creating the bodies. For this reason, when the time of Kahal al-Bayat, Imam Mahdi will appear, he will bestow inheritance of a man to his brother of that world of spirit, and not to the brother by birth. Okay, I go to chapter 3, which is death. I have to skip a lot of pages because of time constraints. The Messenger of Allah has stated, death is the first stage in the stages of the hereafter, and the last stage from the stages of the world. It is learned from the verses of the Quran and tradition that death is accompanied with great pain, which is mentioned in Quran as sakara and kamara, stupor and agony of death. Souls of some men are removed with ease, while some experience severe difficulty. It is narrated in the narrations of the Prophet that during death, some people feel as if their body is being cut asunder by scissors, or are being grinded in a mill, or peeling off the entire skin from a living man's body, while some feel as if they are spreading the fragrance of rose. Indeed, the sight of the dying person during the stupor of death will be quite sharp. He will for the first time be able to see angels who are created of light that can easily blind any human eye, and the jinns who are created of smokeless fire. He will be able to see and hear his family, relatives, friends, and strangers who are around him at the time of death, and who will soon bear his casket to the cemetery. But he will not be able to show any reaction because he has lost control over his temporal body and his soul now takes over. On the other hand, there will be a tremendous transformation in the process of changing from one form to another, which now enables him to see what he could never see before. Zuhri has narrated from Anas bin Malik that he said, I heard the Messenger of God say, there is not a single house which exists except that the angel of death visits it 5 times a day. If the lives of any of the poor people who live in the house or those who are within the house are written to come to an end, then he brings death upon that person. When the agonies and tribulations of death close the entire presence of the person, the screams of the people of the house increase. The people start to pull their hair and start to hit their head and face and cry. It is at this time that the angel of death says, "Fire be upon you. Why are you showing anger and fear? I swear by Allah, I have not taken anyone's wealth. I have not brought the appointed time of death any closer, and I have not come towards you without permission of Allah. Rather, I am taking the soul by the permission of someone else, Allah. I will continue to come to this house until not a single person remains." At this point, Prophet said, "I swear by the one who holds my life and soul in his hands. If you were to see the station where the angel of death is standing in the house and were to hear his words, you would surely forget the one who has passed away. Rather, you would shed tears for yourselves." As the deceased is being carried in the casket by spirits, as the deceased is being carried in his casket, his spirit stays above the casket, crying out, "O my family, O my children, do not let the 20th throne play with you as it played with me, in which I collected the wealth both from the permissible and impermissible means and then left it for others behind me to inherit. May felicity and delight be for those who have inherited that wealth. However, a responsibility remains on my shoulders. Be careful, since that which has come upon me shall also come upon you." Chapter 4. Barzach. It is learned from a large number of verses of the Quran and traditions that death is not the end of the life of man. On the contrary, the death is transferred to another world. After death, he is transferred to another world on Barzach, where all the souls are kept, and he continues his life there. The world of Barzach is between the perspective world of this life and the world of the hereafter and complete gathering. The Holy Quran says, "Until when death overtakes one of them, he says, 'Send me back, my Lord, send me back. Haply I may do good in which I have left.' By no means, it is a mere word that he speaks, and before them is a barrier until the day they are raised. And reckon not those who are killed in Allah's way as dead. Nay, they are alive and are provided sustenance from their Lord, rejoicing in what Allah has given them out of His grace, and they rejoice for the sake of those who being left behind them have not yet joined them, that they shall have no fear, nor shall they grieve." In these verses, it is clear clearly mentioned that martyrs are alive after death, and it cannot be interpreted as immortality of their name and cause. Although life after death is different from the life of this world. If we accept life after death for martyrs, we would have to accept life for all the other people as well. The difference of martyrs to the other people is that the martyrs are sustained by the Lord in that elevated state. They receive sustenance from the God. Therefore, it must be said, all the people are also alive after death, and they are transformed to a world called Barzach, and they continue their life there. Numerous traditions also imply to this point. Abu Bakr has narrated from Imam Jafar Sadiq, the sixth descendant of the Prophet, that he said, "Souls of believers live in form of bodies between the trees of paradise. They introduce and speak to each other. When a new soul enters, they remark to each other, 'Leave him her, he just escaped a great terror.' After that, they ask him, 'How is so and so person?' If he replies, 'He is alive,' they hope for his salvation. And if he says that he is dead, they say, 'He has gone into perdition.' Such traditions and some traditions we mentioned in the discussions show that the souls of the man after death are transformed to the world called Barzach. In that world, they possess a physical body which is exactly like the body of his Lord, in such a way that those who know him recognize him and speak to him. Therefore, the soul of man in Barzach has a body, but it is not the body of the world. Since if it has been a worldly body, it would not have been the Barzach and the hereafter. The wicked souls receive its torments in the world of Barzach. Now I go to chapter 5, which is Hereafter. I will skip about 3 pages. Let's see if I can find the page. Okay, the Almighty Allah says, on the day when they shall come forth, nothing concerning them remains hidden to Allah, to whom belongs the kingdom of this day, to Allah, the One, the Subduer. One of the signs of Qiyamah means the doomsday is the collapse and complete derailment of the solar system, as mentioned in a number of verses of the Holy Quran. Some of them are as follows. When the sun is covered and the stars are darkened, and when the mountains are made to pass away. When the heavens become cleft asunder and the stars become dispersed, and when the seas are made to flow forth. So when the stars are made to lose their light, and when the heaven is rent asunder, and when the mountains are carried away as dust. It can be concluded from such verses that very significant events will occur in this material world, and there will be complete discernment in it. The heavens would split and merge into each other. The sun would lose its brilliance and heat and become dark. The moon would also darken. Stars would lose their sheen and be scattered in the atmosphere. Mountains would be rocked with tremors and shatter into particles. A terrible earthquake would rock the earth and all that is inside, and it would be expelled. The earth would sink into itself completely and would be changed into a completely new earth. The Messenger of Allah said, on Judgment Day, man would not be able to take a single step without being questioned about some things. His age, how he spent it, his youth, how he used it, his wealth, how he has earned it, and where he spent it, and love and affection for us, that is the Prophet and the descendants of the Prophet. The most difficult stages of accounting are concerned with oppressing people and with the mutual rights of men. People live with each other and have rights on each other. To fulfill the rights of each other is a religious duty of man. The Prophets and the Holy Prophet has emphasized on this matter that in Qiyamah doomsday, they would have to account for them particularly. The accounting of all people on their judgment day is not the same. For some it is extremely easy, and for some it is extremely difficult. 3 kinds of accounting are described in the Holy Quran: severe accounting, evil accounting, and an easy accounting. These differences are due to the kind of deeds of different people. Infidels, oppressors, and sinners would face an extremely severe accounting. They have more evil traits of character and possess more sins at the time of accounting. Each of their acts will be checked in details. This is true especially for oppressors, who would be answerable in details about their oppression and ordered to compensate to those whose rights they had violated. But as for the righteous believers, whose scrolls of deeds will be given in their right hands, their accounting would be easy, since they would not be having any sins in it. Or if they would be minor, requiring accounting, and their accounting would be over very fast, and they would happily be sent to paradise to dwell in the neighborhood of the prophets. If one becomes the follower of a tyrant or a wrongdoer, he shall meet the fate of his leader. In fact, Quran indicates that on the day of judgment, people will come in groups, and each group has its leader in front of it. Allah, to whom belongs mighty and majesty, said, one day we shall call every group of people by their respective leaders. In the day of judgment, the destiny of the followers of each group was highly dependent on the destiny of its leaders, provided that they really follow that leader. Allah mentioned in Quran that there are two types of leaders. Some leaders are those who invite people to hell, and they are tyrannical leaders of each era. And the Quran says, and we made them but leaders, inviting to the fire, and on the day of judgment no hell shall they find. In this world we continue to curse them, and on the day of judgment they will be among the hateful. Certainly, being the members of the parties of such satanic leaders has been severely denounced in the Quran, and the followers of such parties will meet the fate of their leaders. However, the Quran also reminds that there are leaders who are appointed by Allah as guides for the mankind, and we assign among them some leaders who guide by our authority, since they are questioned and believed firmly in our signs. Okay, that's the end of my presentation, and after that there is a reference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Arif. Could I ask for any questions or comments? So do you think, you said that Western bioethics is mostly aspiritual, meaning not holistic in a sense. There is quite a lot of writing about Catholic bioethics, some journals on Christian bioethics, some on Jewish bioethics. Are these an exception to most Western bioethics, or what do you think?
When I mentioned Western bioethics, I have indicated the Western bioethics in general. I didn't mean religious bioethics. I didn't mean Islamic bioethics. As you know that there is a section of bioethics that is Islamic bioethics. I only meant Western atheistic bioethics, not the Jewish bioethics or the Catholic bioethics or the Christian bioethics, not that.
Is there a difference between the Sunni and Shiite interpretations of the hereafter and the soul? Could you explain what you think? And I'd like people's comments on that.
This is a very deep question that was asked, and it draws a lot of explanation.
Yes.
As you know, the differences between Shia and Sunni has a strong historical background. That means there are a lot of historical incidents that brought the division between the Muslims and made it Shia and Sunni. Actually, the word Shia means followers of the Prophet and the descendants of the Prophet. The literal meaning of the word Shia means followers. Followers of the Prophet and the descendants of the Prophet. And the Sunni comes from followers of the traditions. This is the meaning of Shia and Sunni differences. So as you said that the Shia and Sunni views differs on many grounds. Because the Shia teachings came from the teachings of the prophets that came through the descendants of the prophets. But the Sunni teachings did not come through the descendants of the prophets. The Sunni teachings came from the teachings of the Umayyads. The Sunni ancient scholars has compiled their ancient books from the teachings and the followers of the Umayyads. But the Shia teachings comes from the followers of the descendants of the Prophet. So there is a difference in interpretation and understanding of religion. This is as much I can say shortly.
Thank you. Are there other comments or questions? So how
Does anybody here have a soul?
if you have a
Or
soul,
everyone is dead?
make a question. A soul should be questioning as well as accepting, shouldn't it?
Yes, the soul is your spirit. That person, when you are speaking, your soul is speaking, your ruh is speaking, your body is not speaking. Your body is material. When you die, your soul leaves and your body remains, and your body cannot speak. But now you can speak, your soul is speaking.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have a soul like that.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, please.
Sir, Islamic bioethics, you talked about Islamic bioethics.
Yes.
And from which sects come?
Yes, it's a good question. The Islamic bioethics has interpretations both from Shia and Sunni also. Suppose in the case of abortion, what is the view of the Shia about abortion? What is the view of the Sunni about abortion? View of Sunni about abortion? So there are different issues that were discussed in both Shia and Sunni and became Islamic bioethics.
Sir, we know that Shia people, they are living themselves and by the own intention. On the other side, Sunni doesn't do it.
Yes.
So how they both are contradictory in their concept, in their belief, everything. So how the concept or the terms bioethics comes from two sects and then with combination.
Okay, firstly you discussed that some Shia people, they, on the occasions of maybe Muharram, they cut themselves and beat themselves. Okay. So actually, this concept comes from very ancient times of Islam. It comes from the time when, after the demise of the Prophet, the descendants of the Prophet, they have given direction to the Muslims, to their followers, that on those days of Karbala, you express your sorrow and your pains, and you cut yourself, and you show your grief for the martyrdom of Imam Hossain alayhi salam. This is the direction of the descendants of the Prophet. This is nothing that the Shia people has invented. No.
Sir, if you don't mind,
Yes.
correction, Islamic scripture or religious scripture or religious prophet or religious leaders or religious scholars, they are not supporting this activity of Shias. So how would you say that is actually Islamic tradition?
Yes, they are not. There is a split in the Muslims, the Shia and the Sunni. The Shia has taken the teaching from the descendants of the Prophet, and the Sunnis has taken teachings from the teachings of the Umayyads, the supporters of the Umayyads. So there is a conflict, and the Umayyads were the enemies of Imam Hossain in the Karbala. They have killed Imam Hossain also.
Of course, I agree.
Yes.
But the things you said, bioethics of Islamic bioethics comes from the combination of both Shia and Sunnis belief or concepts.
I would not say it's a combination, but both Islamic groups have given opinion on their views on bioethics. So that made Islamic bioethics.
Can you elaborate a little bit of Islamic bioethics?
Yes. Yes?
Can you elaborate on Islamic bioethics in little bit?
Yes, Islamic bioethics is the explanation of bioethics through the point of view of Islamic laws. So the Shias has some laws that the Sunni don't have, or the Sunnis have some laws the Shia don't have. So both groups explains the laws according to their own understanding. And both groups explains bioethics according to their own understanding. So this combination makes Islamic bioethics.
There is no exact standard of bioethics in Islamic tradition, Islamic religion.
No. Bioethics is imported from the West. But bioethics is ingrained in every human person.
So does Islam supporting or does Islam supporting or
not all aspects of bioethics does Islam support, but there are many aspects of bioethics does Islam support. Yes. Yes.
I have a couple of questions from our colleagues in different countries. So let me start. Sukran is from Turkey. And she wrote, she saw the energy of soul in some people. And is there a kind of, so she thinks the soul is also part of the life force or energy of a person. What's the linkages? You said that in your answer, I think partly you were mentioning it. Sukram, would you like to say anything?
The soul, how can happen, I don't know, but I saw some soul of my friends and my ancestors that they were traffic accident in another place. At that time, I saw their soul, and also the another woman. She was in hospital and very far away from one. But I saw that after my family told me, yeah, she died a few minutes or 10 minutes before. Yeah, there is a soul, there is an energy. What is it? I don't know. But it is, yeah, because I saw something. The Islamic religion, the other religions, usually I think that they accept the same approaches. This is the different explanation. After that, there is different explanation. Buddhism believe that the reincarnation is control, but there is a kind of energy. What is it? I don't know what I believe. In Islamic religions, the Arif is an interesting topic. Thank you. And I congratulate you. It's not easy. It's not. I usually I don't study that. That is fantasy. Therefore, I don't do anything about it. But it is important, and the Arif explained that Islamic views. What is the expectation? Yes, this is the Islamic views and the other views. Actually, according to me, said that please people live honestly, loudly, and the good things. If you do good things, you will have a better life after that. It is especially for there is the main theme, and it is good. But there is the appendix. I don't see appendix. Therefore, I understood something in a different way, and maybe we will see after a while.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arif.
Okay, thank you, Sukran, for your comments and for your observation. But let me just ask you that at one point of your comment, you said that you have seen soul. Have you really seen soul?
That's what she said. What did it look like, Sukram? Is that, I guess,
Yes. So, yeah, it is the same. It is a life of hologram. For example, my friends, but she was a good friend, but I don't have a very intimate very sincerely to me. Only I know she was a good and she was a photographer. She was a good photographer. She had some awards. And unfortunately, it was a bad accident in Adana, and she lost her life at that time. But I don't know. I was at home and I watched TV and I saw the sheep at the door. I surprised. I think that she wants to do something, and after at the end she lost after I saw, and at the next day I learned that she lost her life, and she was a good photographer. Therefore, I organized a panel, a conference, and I put an exhibition from her photographs to the honored her, to the happy, because she liked the photographs, she liked the arts. I did so. Another person, he had some a little issues, and I was at one, and she was at hospital, and very long away, and I saw that time in my bed at 2 or 2:30 a.m. and I saw she had, I am sorry, because we had a little problem, but I believe that in Islamic views, everybody left a place that please say me good things and halalet, I don't know how can I English. Sorry, one minute. Hello to your everything, your wishes. If you know some wrong things, for example, please forgive me. It is very important to do. And after I saw and said, yes, it is true. Yeah, because his soul is not, soul was not relief. After I saw, I am sorry, and you say, yes, I forgive you, and so it's good. I think so. Yeah, I think so. What is it? I don't know. I am not a religious. I am a secular thinker.
Okay, Sultan, I want to say that the soul cannot be seen in a photograph. Not as yet, I think. Because as you know that we have the X-ray machine or the CT scan or the whatever, and we can see the internal condition of the human body with those systems. But maybe in the future there will be a technology through which we can be able to see the human soul, but not as yet. And about soul, soul is the most primary creation of God. Before everything was created, the souls were created. And the best of souls were created before everything else was created. We don't know where the soul is in our human body, but suppose one of our arms gets cut off, we cannot say that that portion of our soul has been cut off also. If our leg or an arm is cut off, we cannot say that some portion of our soul has been cut off from the body. The soul is, we cannot point to the soul in our body, but the soul is everywhere in our body. It's like saying that God is here or God is there. We cannot point for where God is, but God is everywhere. Same situation with the soul. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Arif. Gwendolen asked, is the Bible part of your sources? I mean, and maybe you can clarify the part of Islamic teaching that's overlapping with the Christian Bible.
So what is the question there?
Is the Bible part of your sources?
Okay, as we think that the entire scripture of the Holy Bible, as you know that Muslims believe in the Holy Book of Bible, but unfortunately at this time of historical developments of human history, the Bible is not really entirely unchanged at this time. Thousands of years has passed since the coming of the Bible, and the Bible has taken many human ideas and changes that has been included in the present day Bible. We as Muslims, we think that lots of sections of the Bible are pure and true, and we believe in that. We don't deny that. But many parts we cannot agree with. We don't think that those were human innovations. So what we do is that when some verses of the Bible supports the verses of the Quran, we accept that as authentic, and we can use that as a reference. We don't have a problem with that. And sometimes some verses in the Bible are really not rational and does not seem that it has really come from God, and it is a human addition to the Bible. And then we cannot just accept that. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Leo from the Philippines asked, in your questionnaire, there's a place to identify the religion as well. So how do you think, and you have the questionnaires from the Philippines, how do you think you'll include Catholic views compared to Shiite views or Sunni views? How do you think you may look at this in the pieces?
Okay, first of all, I want to say that being religious does not mean prejudicial. First of all, what our religion Islam says that try to be a human before you try to become religious. First become a human, then you try to become religious. So first what we see is the human, not what religion the human is. And then we see the religion. So what I want to say is that whatever sects or religious background a person may come from, Catholic or Protestant or Buddhist or Hindu or Christian, first of all, we have to identify that what the person is doing or saying, if this is a human rational act or human rational saying. And if this is a human rational act and human rational saying, then that would confirm the correct religious views of any religion. And that's how we see it, really.
That's a very interesting response. Any comments or questions? Yeah, so if the soul is from everybody, then the soul will be across all religions. And certainly life and death are across all religions. And the hereafter, and our conceptions of it. I was very interested in, I saw that our colleagues in the Philippines also made many of them made comments about Barzach.
Barzach.
So
Barzach is really purgatory.
yeah.
Purgatory is a place, Barzach is a place that after death, the soul is not immediately given the reward of heaven or hell. So the soul needs to be kept in a place. And that world, intermediary world is called Barzach, where the souls are kept until the day of resurrection, until the day of judgment, and then comes heaven and hell. Until that time, the souls, all souls that die goes to Barzach.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? I think it was very thorough.
I have this is not a question, but this is for my understanding. I want to understand what is the relation of soul, death, Barzach, and the hereafter. What is mean step by step and in your title.
Yes, as I said in my thesis proposal presentation, that this idea actually developed in me. This idea has developed in me after attending AUSN bioethics classes. Because there are many colleagues in AUSN, students, PhD students, master students, who has written their thesis work on good death, bad death, or after death, death issues or peaceful death issues, whatever. So that, and some of them who were observing those defenses asked that, commented that there are more issues after death. There is more in there. We need to know those things. So those questions have struck me and gave me to the way to develop the idea of writing this work on soul, death, Barzach, and the hereafter. Because these are really human factors. Each one of us are really affected by these issues, sooner or later. So these issues cannot be ignored. As Western bioethics comes from an atheistic point of view, they usually ignore these important issues and does not bring it into the focus. So that inspired me to write on these issues from authentic and real sources. That's how I developed this idea. And that's how I got the relation of soul, death, Barzach, and the hereafter. Because one can't come after the other, stage by stage. That's the relation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, well, thank you very much, Arif.
Okay, thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
And I think it very stimulated a lot of comments. And thank you. Good. Okay.
No more comments?